Hello everyone! Now welcome to my second guide. So this is going to be over the newest character, Percy. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I already kind of can understand him pretty easily, but as well as a lot of people don't seem to actually know how to go against him. And I think that's what throws a lot of people off, especially when I'm trying to play him and I get him constantly banned. It's like he's not worth the ban too much. But anyways, I hope you all, and we're going to do sort of the same setup as we did with the Postman Guide. We're going to go over a lot of different, the basics, persona builds, and then a lot of different other things, his counters, his overall tier, and any other changes I would like for him, because he is a new character and it's people just do have to learn it. But anyways, let's get on with the guide. Okay, let's start with the basics of Percy. So let's start off with the energy conversion. But he's before 50 and 50. He has everything normal, his dash is all normal, his strike is normal and all that. His abilities are basically all basic. But when he's after 50, his abilities get enhanced. His basic attack cannot be stunned. So when he swings out, when he's over 50 charge, he cannot be stunned whatsoever out of it. And as well as his basic attack can break pallets. Now let's go over as well over when he's overloaded, which is when he hits 100 charge. When he hits 100 charge, his movement speed is decreased by 8%, and as well as his abilities go on cooldown for 14 seconds. And what I mean by going on cooldown, I mean he cannot access any of his abilities for 14 seconds, and then whatever cooldown they were on resumes as normal. And now let's go over his tier 2 ability, which is called Energy Conversion. Now, when you use this ability below 50 charge, you will gain 50 charge. When you use it after over 50 charge, you will lose 50 charge. It helps balance him out, like more in sense that you can control it. You can control when you don't want to be pallet stunned and stuff like that. You can also control when you want to avoid being overloaded and just have more control over that instead of waiting a certain amount of time. Anyways, let's get on with the next one, which is the dash. The dash before 50 and 50, it just increased the range. You dash at a specific distance unless you hit an obstacle or a survivor, and then you go into attack recovery when you hit that survivor. And each use of the dash gives you 10 extra charges. And when you're over 50 charge, you jump in the air every single time, and you can press your dash button again to slam down in the air. This slam can go over certain obstacles, and you can turn the slam at a maximum 90 degrees from your dash. And as well as this still only increases 10% charge and 10 of charge instead of doing 10, then an extra 10 for that slam. It is 10 overall for both. Now let's go over the strike, which is his second ability, which is for his first unlocked ability. So the strike can be used instantly. If you just tap it, you'll do a bit of a wind up and slam down and strike to the ground and stun any survivors within the radius. It is very easy to avoid. You want to use this more when you're going ahead and doing when they're stuck in animations or in an area that they just can't avoid it at all. It's a good punisher, but you can charge it to a certain bar, and it'll damage the survivor and put you into attack recovery. And if there are multiple survivors in that range, when you do have that charged, it'll damage all survivors within that range. And when you do strike, it gives you 20 for each use of it, so you gain 20 charge. So you need to be a little bit careful on when you do use this. When it's after 50 when you're over 50 charge, you're given a chance to immediately strike again after your first strike. So you can strike once to stun, and then you can charge and immediately strike and charge to that threshold and damage the survivor. This is very good for a punisher when survivors aren't able to avoid it, or they make a mistake and stuff like that and just are stuck in an animation. It's very good for a punish. And that second strike does not give you an extra 20 charge. It's just like the dash. Overall, it is 20 charge in general. It's not 20 plus 20. It's only 20. But anyways, we'll get on to the I'm messing everything up. I didn't talk about my dash. The dash used for movement. Use it for just getting to a survivor. If you know spawn points, go immediately there. Stuff like that. And overall, let's get on to the next part, which is talking about the down survivors. Okay, so down survivors on normal, just without any other requirements, just the survivor being down with Percy. Their bleed out is increased by 25% each time they're knocked out, so if they're knocked down, that bleed out timer is quickly raised 25% in a sense each time they're knocked down. Their self-healing limit is always 95%. Even if you have the after effects trait and persona trait, it is always going to be 95%. It will not, they cannot be lower than that. And that, if they have exit path, they can heal past that, of course, but if they don't have exit path, they can only heal to a maximum of 95. Their crawling speed is increased by 200%, so they basically move at the same speed as they think a walking survivor. I'm not entirely sure on that, but they move a lot faster when they're down on the ground. And when they are picked up, they are revealed to Percy for 6 seconds. So Percy can quickly get back, go back to chasing them, and get them right back down and avoid having to worry about that. Now, we're going to talk about the survivors being down, like all survivors being downed, or the exit gates are powered. So, if either of these are in a situation, survivors' bleed out time is increased by 300%, so they die a lot faster than they normally would. So, anyways, that's basically everything you need to know about down survivors. Let's go over a little bit more on just like what you should do in the situation. I think a lot of times just use your exit path, and so, especially if it's an early down, just use your exit path, pick yourself up. Don't have a teammate come and heal you, because if you're behind on the coding, just pick yourself up. Don't make a teammate come and heal you just so you don't use your exit path till later. It's like, just pick yourself up, and so then your team can worry about decoding, getting ciphers done. And done. Other than that, don't pick up right in front of Percy, even if you have tied. That just means they just go down, and they just get hit right after they get picked up and stuff like that. That you need to be very careful when you do pick up and when you try to. Anyways, let's get over to the persona build for Percy. Okay, so here we have the persona builds. So there are 4 persona builds that could generally work with Percy. The first one being right only, which is only trump card. You want to run this build. Builds just go right, go max destructiveness, go some impact, go no survivors, tinnitus, and then panic. This helps with a little bit of your early game if you need to run peepers or blink, or if you just want to run teleport and then switch to something else. But you do get hurt a little bit by this, because Percy kind of does still need confined space, eat, and pallet break. Now the next build would be over here is our up only build. Our up only build is confined space only with max hunt if you want that. You could run the Seekers, where you can see people healing. You can run impact. You can run quenching effects, no survivors, panic, and panic decrease your terror radius, claustrophobia, stuff like that. You can run all this sort of things to help. And it's like, again, these are all general builds instead of with Postman build. These are all general builds I just suggest. The one I currently use, which is not this one, which is the up-down build. But with the up-down build, just run up-down, no survivors, quenching effects, panic, tinnitus, and then max rage, because you're not going to be restricting pallets as much with Percy. But you could also run up-down, or instead of max rage, run your healing, run either impact, or you can run it into seeing survivors healing. But the build I currently run is upright. The upright build you can run inertia, run tinnitus, run panic. And panic, you can either run impact, or you can run just run healing and then run no survivors as well. I honestly say no survivors is such a good one for Percy. That's pretty much like a stand-in. No survivors and confined space. Those are like needed for Percy. They're really good for him. And then panic as well as tinnitus. And tinnitus, and then you can choose between impact or healing or rage and stuff like that, and claustrophobia. But anyways, those are the builds I generally suggest. You can mess with them however you see fit, but otherwise, this is what I would suggest, and you can just edit them however you see fit. Anyways, let's get on to the next part. Next up is the counters for Percy and who he counters and stuff like that. So, who counters Percy specifically is going to be Doctor. Doctor mainly because of her healing. It's not because she can kite really well against him, but she can kite really well against most most hunters, as long as she has a good area, as long as she has a good area, she can kite him very easily, keep herself healed and stuff like that. But it's mainly because she can heal others fast. That's what's really countering him. And as well as she can pick herself up decently fast as well, and let others pick themselves up fast as well. And we're gonna talk about the second counter for him, which is Priestess. Priestess has portals to get away, make distance, and also if she portals right before he dashes and she gets the portal off, Percy will always break that portal. The dash cannot go through the portal. He will break the portal and stuff like that. And as well as she has herself very fast healing speed for others, and as well as she can pick herself up very quickly and stuff like that. It's very easy for her to just do some insane healing and keep her teammates alive and keep them healed. She can do a super portal to call to someone who's downed and heal them. And then the last counter for him would be Embalmer. The reason why Embalmer counters him is because of his coffin now. His coffin can be used on people who are downed. And he can just go ahead, coffin, and then now Percy has to either target the person who is coffined or just switch targets and go after someone else. And he wants to go after someone else if that coffin's in a really good area and he doesn't have teleport up or anything like that, or he just can't get to it fast enough. Or he targets the coffin instead and just wastes time and stuff like that. Like, it helps their team so much. Now, he counters basically every stunner. Every single stunner he will counter. He can counter forward, coordinator, enchantress, prospector. They all stun. Prospector, oh my god. If he magnets and you have line of sight that just dash on him, you just dash towards the prospector, and then the magnet goes off because it pushes you away and cancels your attack recovery. I've killed prospectors so quickly because of that. It's insane. Then there's forward. Forward tries to stun, and forward tries to get away with football. He just dashes over, or he just swings when he's over 50 and ignores the stun entirely. Cord swings and ignores the stun entirely when he's over 50. Enchantress swings when he's over 50 and ignores the stun entirely. Acro, he can swing when he's over 50 and ignore Ice Bomb and the Mud Bomb. The Fire Bomb is the only thing that can counter him with Acro. Because he cannot dash through that firebomb, and he also cannot swing through that firebomb to ignore it as well. He still gets affected by it. Then there's Thief. Thief can't do anything against him. Thief is all about just keeping quote-unquote distance and then keeping that flashlight on the hunter. He can't do that against Percy because he just immediately dashes to him and just cancels it. Barmaid needs to make distance. She needs to be in a good area to get that heal off. Percy kind of just stops that. If Barmaid tries to transition, freaking whatever, Percy does not care. He counters Postman in the sense that the dog is completely useless against it because Percy can just dash. If Postman's in a good area, then that dog is just so useful. It is so useful for Postman, and Percy can't do anything. Now, we're also going to go over specifically what's the biggest counter for him, and that is tight kiting. And when I mean tight kiting, I mean you do not transition, you do not camp those pallets, you do not try and get to a new area. You just, if you're in a good area, do not camp those pallets, do not throw them early. You want to keep them up as long as possible. You want to make Percy fear those pallets, even when he's over 50. Especially when he's over 50, do not camp those pallets. Just run through and save those pallets. Keep them all alive. Keep those pallets up. And that's what I think a lot of people have trouble with, is that, especially mobile players, is that they're so used to just throwing the pallet early just to get the hunter to break in and waste time. And also they're used to camping pallets and stuff like that. They're just used to doing that playstyle. But with Percy, you need to do an entirely different playstyle than what most people are used to, and that is not camping pallets, not just throwing them instantly. You need to actually save them and keep them up so that your team can use them and run to them if they're able to and stuff like that. And that's what people just don't get, especially low tiers. Low tiers are gonna keep throwing them. Like, he is a low tier destroying hunter. He destroys low to mid tier. Once you get higher tiers, he gets very destroyed. destroyed. And then we're gonna go about soft counters for him too. Soft counters, basically everyone can soft counter him, but he also soft counters a lot of people. Like, let's go over the ones that are like each other. Perfumer. If Perfumer's in a good area, Perfumer destroys him. But if Perfumer's in a bad area, and especially in the open, he destroys Perfumer. He just baits out the Perfume. He just doesn't care. Cowboy. Cowboy needs to be in a good area. Cowboy needs to get his lasses off. But the thing is, Percy can just dash to him. Percy can also wait till he vaults over and immediately dash behind him, and stuff like that. Painter. Painter needs to be able to get that painting off. But the thing is, Percy, he needs to be in a good area for those paintings to be useful. And also, Percy can just swing over 50 and ignore that stun entirely. Dancer needs to be in a good area, and Dancer needs to be in a good tight kite area. If she's in a good tight kite area, Percy can't do anything with a slow box. Oh, and a fast box too. Oh my god, Percy ain't catching him. Percy should just leave. But if Dancer's in a bad area, Percy wins. Gravekeeper just because the shovel. If Gravekeeper's in a good area, Gravekeeper can last forever against Percy. But also, if he's in a bad area, he just dies very quickly, even with shovel. Even with both shovels, he dies very quick. But those are the ones I really want to go over. But anyways, we're going to go over to his overall tier and then some changes as well that I think that should be made for him. Okay, let's go over the overall tier for Percy. So in my opinion, he's like low to mid A tier, A minus tier. Like A minus tier, when I mean A minus, I mean it's just literally A tier, which is the tier right below A plus. Plus, he's good, but it's like, he's good if you know how to use them, and you also know how to handle the situations. He's terrible if you're just picking him up and stuff like that, and, like, he's easy to pick up, but it's like, you still need to learn how he works and stuff like that. His hitboxes are very weird. His dashes can be very weird sometimes. His jumping over obstacles can be weird sometimes and stuff like that. It's very off and stuff like that. It's very weird, and then it's like, it's also a completely different style to most people play. He can get a lot of map pressure, pressure, which is really good, but if you're going, but his chase isn't as good as you think, especially if it's a tight kite area. If it's an open transitional kite, then freaking you can win those easily, and stuff like that. Overall, it's just like, he's not worth a ban, as many people want him to be. He's not worth a ban, not worth it at all. Well, it's the same with Ripper, same with those other hunters that are in A tier are not that good. It's just like, it's not worth a ban. It's just better to ban something else and just deal with Percy, because he's just easy to deal with. Overall, he's an okay hunter. He's an average hunter. He's pretty balanced. Like, people think he's overpowered, but it's like he's fairly balanced of a hunter. He could use just a little bit of tweaking here and there. But he's not terrible. If they kept him the same from test server, oh yo, freaking he'd need a nerf. Like, his test server was completely broken. Oh my god, and no one can say otherwise. It was completely broken. He could just down you instantly at over 50 with that, because he got no attack recovery with him hitting you with normal dash. He could just hit a normal dash and then immediately go ahead and slam you. Like, that was broken. But anyways, we'll go on to just what changes I think he could use. Now let's talk about the changes I think he should need. I think he should really just not start with all 5 dashes. He should start with 3. Don't make him start with only 1. Don't make him start with only 2. And 2, it's too little. He needs to be able to get to someone. He needs that map pressure early game. So, starting with 3 is fine. Because if you give him 4, it's too much. If you make him start with 5, it's already too much. Or stuff like that. It's better to just have him start with 3. That's the best call is just have him start with 3, because by the time he finds someone, he gets that 4th dash and dash up, and so he's ready to help kite someone, or he's ready to help chase someone. Then his hitboxes, his basic attack and attack just needs to be. It needs to be longer lengthwise, and it needs to be a little bit lighter, because there's so many times where it's like, I just don't hit whatsoever, and it's like they're literally right on top of me. And also it's like, I don't hit around the corner when it's like, they're right there and stuff like that. I miss so many hits, and it's just like, I shouldn't be missing them. them, especially when he has this fucking big weapon and he swings very far and wide. Then there's boxes with his dash. Just fix the judgment of it. Like, there's so many times I hit someone when they're like fucking behind me on the dash, or they're so far left or so far right, and there's times where I literally miss them and I run into them. Then I have that happen so many times where I run into a survivor and it just doesn't hit them, or it's like they're right next to me and stuff like that. I'm just like, are you kidding me? How is this not hitting? This should be hitting and stuff like that. It's just, and then I get stuck on so many obstacles, and it's just like, I shouldn't be getting stuck on this. It's just a lot. It's just a mess. And then there's persona traits. Overall, a lot of his persona traits, like, just basically mess with every persona trait that affects Chair to affect a person that's down when you're playing against Percy or playing as Percy. Because it's like, there's so many traits that just don't work. Like, Berserker doesn't work like that. Wither doesn't work. There's Wanted Order doesn't work. It's like, it really should. And it's just like, he just loses a lot of his potential. Anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed this guide. I hope y'all enjoyed me making this. I hope you all learned a little bit more about Percy. Anyways, I will, if y'all want to check out any music, the music will be in the description below. And if you want to go back into the video and look at it, I will have timestamps below for each section of the video specifically. And as well as, if y'all want to hit me up with any questions in the comments, go ahead, comment down below. I'll answer them if I didn't answer them in the video. And as well as, if y'all like the content and want more guides, as well as more videos and like my content, I do stream over on Twitch, twitch.tv/nitrogames_FH, and as well as like and subscribe to the channel to enjoy more content, and as well as give it a like, give it a share, comment down below what guide should I do next for what character. I might try and do some guides for some of the other characters I play, like Cowboy and Bon and stuff like that, and Sculptor. I might try and help with that. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see y'all next time.